When you look back at that clip of that very first audition, do you feel like the person sat here now is a very different person to then? Have you grown, do you think?
Oh, completely. You know, before I entered X Factor, I'd never done a live rap gig before, ever. So I'd never performed as a rap artist. So, you know, from that point up until now, I kind of feel like a rap artist has been born, that I've grown as an artist throughout the competition, and I've seen my potential, you know.
So if you've never done it before, and that the X Factor audition was the first time, so who were you before?
Well, I had been rapping, like I've been a musician the whole of my life, but I hadn't actually, I'd been posting all my tracks and my recordings on my SoundCloud page. So I've been rapping for about 5 years and producing like music and recording in the studio.
So when did Anna Guilford become Honey G?
Well, in year 2000, I was studying in university, and one of my mates came up with my name, Honey G. And I was like, why Honey G? And he was like, well, you know, the first letter of my surname is G, so that's where the G comes from. And the honey is because, you know, you're sweet like honey. So I was like, OK, brilliant, yeah.
I'll take it.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
that works
so...
well. Does it bother you then that, I mean, even in the introduction there, I sort of said love her or loathe her, that you do seem to split people right down the middle? We are a Honey G household, so I'm just putting that out there. I am a fan. Brilliant. But, I mean, a lot of people, you have got a lot of stick, haven't you? Sort of people saying, you know, it's all right, she's coming in here, but she's taking the place of a proper X Factor contestant.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I have, you know, had some people saying some, you know, negative things about me, but it's kind of got to the point where now if I see something online that I think is negative, you know, I just don't really bother clicking on it anymore and reading it, because I don't really want to, you know, focus on any negativity.
Quite
you know,
right.
I do feel that I have just as much right to be in the competition, you know, than anyone else, because I've worked hard as well. You know, I've captured the audience. I've got...
It goes as far as saying you've worked the hardest, to be honest. She's always...
Well, the amount of lyrics you've had to learn for a start is probably quadruple.
Whenever you bump into Honey in the corridor or anything, you might be in the canteen and everyone's sitting there eating their lunch, having a laugh, and she's like, yeah, you know, with her headphones on.
It will definitely grab the interest of people who want to know, because the papers are full of the fact they say, right, actually, in reality, if you meet her, she's got a really posh accent, so it's all put on, and so is it an act? Are you like Keith Lemon?
No, you know, I'm not fake. This isn't an act. You know, obviously I've grown up, you know, on the underground scene, in the music scene. I've been a musician the whole of my life. I'm known to BBC Radio 1 Extra, which is the UK's biggest black music radio station. I've been involved in the station since it was founded. My mum's a classical pianist. That's where I get my, you know, music from. She's also known to the BBC.
Big up with Honey G.
Big up, Mummy G, yeah. You know, so people saying, you know, that this is an act to someone like me. I've got a degree in music. I've been a musician the whole of my life. I think I might have picked up, like, street lingo, you know, from being on the underground music scene, and it's kind of become part of my personality.
And I was watching you on Lorraine earlier on, and you were saying that, you know, you're looking forward to meeting, to finding a bit of love in your life, really, and that you would like to eventually go on and have little baby G's. Who would be the person to capture your heart? Well, who would that be? Would it be someone that was into this? Who is that person?
I mean, obviously, I am looking for love.
What's your type?
You know, I really want to have kids. You know, it's difficult for me to say what my type is. You know, I just obviously would love to meet someone who's very caring, kind, loving, romantic.
But they'd have to have music in their bones, surely.
Yeah, of course, you know, because, you know, music now is going to be all of my life. So, yeah, I'd have to, you know, be with someone who, you know, likes all my music and that kind of stuff.
And so what's going to happen now, then? Obviously, we saw on last night, I think you were pressing Simon, said, is there a record deal? Is there a record deal? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Nothing's decided till later. And there's, I mean, every child in the country adores you. You're sort of massive in all the schools.
My son can't even speak, but he can say Honey G.
Brilliant. Oh, I love it.
So maybe is that an area you pursue? What are you going to do?
Yeah, basically, I'm not going to beat around the bush. The reason why I entered X Factor is because I'm looking for a record deal. I'd love to be signed by Psycho, Simon Cowell's record label. One thing, I get on with the music team so well, and we're all friends now, and I would love to work with them. I've got so many ideas. Actually, the first track that I performed in the first week of X Factor, and the track that I performed in the sing-off last night, that went to #1 on the Spotify UK 50 viral chart.
It's a good sign.
And I actually co-wrote some of the track as well. So they know there's potential there. I'd love to work with the team. You know, I'd really be so amazing to be signed by someone.
Have you got a rap for us?
Well, I can do my Honey G little...
There's quite a few people in the studio now, so it's amazing. You've got to be very popular, because normally we don't get this many people in the studio. Go for it.
OK, brilliant. H to the O to the N to the E to the Y to the G, it's Honey G. When I say honey, you say G. Honey.
G.
Honey.
G.
Yeah.
Check it to wreck it, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. Honey G's in the house, let me hear some noise.
Honey, thank you so much. It's great having you here. Thank you very well. Watch
Thank
this
you.
space. If you enjoyed that, there's more of the same right here. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss the best moments from this morning.